Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Shinrin-yoku Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Tuesday, October 13th, at just after midnight. Now, the models are in, and it's a sin. Very little change has occurred, except the snow might be not going as far south as New Mexico, but it will be wreaking havoc on the Midwest. But the big story, it's almost that time. Are you ready for the global warming goodness? Keep calm, it's boom time. West Michigan's record earliest snowfall happened October 2006, years after the global warming scare began. Kalamazoo, who? West Michigan was digging out from a record snowfall October 12, 2006 in Michigan. A strong storm followed a punch of unusually cold air, helped to blanket the area with an accumulating amount of global warming goodness unseen by the likes of Al Gore, who claimed that on this year there would be no Arctic ice. What a fraud. And yet people still cling on to this decades later. First accumulating snow coming for the lower Michigan snow belts. That's the news. Maybe a few days late from the earliest recorded snow, but ho, ho, ho. Significant cold for mid-October is going to frigidly spread across Michigan. The cold air blowing over much of the warmer Great Lakes water will produce, hello, lake effect snow. And that's tonight's first boom. Hello to snow in Michigan. Almost as early as the earliest recorded snow ever. Cold snap expected to bring below freezing temps and possibly snow to Anchorage this week, which will be in line with the earliest snow that Anchorage receives. Are you picking it up? Active pattern bringing hazardous weather to the west. Heavy rain continues for the East Coast. Take a look. We have winter weather warnings surrounded by high winds. Snow and winds equals drifts. An active weather pattern is bringing high winds to mountain snowfall across the northern Rockies. Gusty winds and low humidity is contributing to the critical fire weather in the central Rockies and plains, while offshore flow in the southern California is creating hot temperatures and local fire weather concerns. My goodness, I can't see a thing. Let me put my glasses on. On the East Coast, the remnants of Delta will bring heavy rainfall through Tuesday, which will be their lose day. Hello. Let's check the GFS model, shall we? And as we look at it in its current position, it looks epical. Well, here we are before Halloween, and we see a snow belt of 8 inches through the growing regions of the Midwest, Nebraska, Wyoming, where many of the ranches here on the East Coast could pick up 16 to 18 inches, and these models are developing. And as a good friend of the channel, Daniel Nigro, said, the models will change. Well, that's due to the science and the mathematical integrity of the search. So every 6 hours, we get an update from these supercomputers, which allows us to project into the future what we as climatologists and weather forecasters believe is going to happen. So, one of the reasons why Smash-O-Mash has not gotten more subscribers or listeners is because he claims to be the end-all be-all of science knowledge, which is so far from the truth it's laughable. In fact, he is still holding on to the fact that we have not reached the cosmic ray maximum of modern history this year, because he only knows that of one neutron monitor that he understands how to get the data from. This is the problem when you watch YouTubers. Some of them can address more data than others. Now, in the fact of Daniel Nigro, I wholeheartedly believe Smash-O-Mash's channel is top-notch, but he has a long way to go. The reason people don't subscribe to him is because he doesn't have a narrative that they want to listen to. So, if you're just constantly out there bitching, moaning, and complaining about everything, well, people get tired of that. So let's talk about some science. Now, the facts are that the European model and the GFS completely do not agree on any of this. What you have to realize is that for years, I've been watching both models, and I've been seeing where one is correct and one is not correct. That's why when I predict hurricanes, they're almost 100% on spot. I've never been wrong on a hurricane landfall in 4 years. And it's because I use the European data and the GFS and the Canadian model and every other model possible. And I go reference what happened in the past so I can see what models were wrong and why they overpredicted. And that's why I choose the models I choose. So if you just think that I'm showing you some graphics based on some kind of fantasy that I created to make a video, you couldn't be further from the truth. Well, and that's why people subscribe to the channel, because we lay it out step by step, day by day, how it's going to unfold. Well, and the unfolding that doesn't have to be questioned is the depths here up in the northeast, or the northwest, I'm sorry, in British Columbia and Alberta, where snow is going to be building to epic levels. It looks like over 3 to 4 feet of snow, where it usually occurs at this rate for the last 100 years, is going to be happening again. So that should leave you pause to the whole narrative of no snow anymore. But before we even reach winter, we're going to be buried in 3 to 10 feet of snow in British Columbia. Before winter, when snow is going to be a thing of the past for the children in our world. Seismic update. Boom! There are no quakes of note. There's been some activity on the Appalachian Fault here in the Arkansas region over the last 24 hours. We've seen some hours of powers that may suggest that the New Madrid is awakening, but there is no impending doom. There has never been impending doom in Yellowstone, no matter what anybody says, and we're going to cover that shortly. Worldwide Volcano News Update. No volcanoes of note. Eruptions, normal. But we've had some amazing cosmic ray spikes over the last week, so we're just waiting. And we're timing our activity because based on the input of the cosmic rays in the last week or so, we should be seeing an uptick in some volcanoes somewhere in the next week. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on volcanology as we move forward. Now, Europe is not out of the woods either. Take a look at the snow falling here in the models in the Alps. So there's going to be a dry period, but in just the next few days, we're talking August 15th through the 17th, we're going to be seeing some heavy snow in the Alps, and then it moves in across the region, Siberia. Take a look at Finland. Hello. Greta's boyhood home of Sweden. Buried early in the fall. What will they say? Because, I mean, the whole world is warming, so why would there be so much snow falling in the fall? I wonder what their rebuttal will be. None. Zero. There'll be silence. There'll be crickets, like Mary Greeley's channel. Have to do something. In quotes, Yellowstone volcano warning over unavoidable super eruption. Now, this headline is true, but what they don't tell you in the headline is the unavoidable eruption is 700,000 years off or more, because this is the funny thing. So let me just point this out to you. This is how they work it. Look at all the videos. It looks like magma is about to erupt. But if you actually read the article, none of the signals come close to suggesting any volcanic activity ever in our future. It's a fraud. It's a fear piece. It's a sharticle. It's a shithole. It's worthless. All of this time, all these graphics, all of the energy invested. Can you imagine what kind of people got paid salaries, $2,000 a week to write this shit? Callum whore, you are a whore. You are a whore beyond reproach. By Callum whore. You can Callum whore my ass all day. This is garbage. The Express, everything we report on for the last 3 years, all of these UK sharticles, all of these sources are garbage. The purpose is to get sheep to watch, to listen to their channel. Mainstream media is like sheep. How can we hook these idiots into reading this garbage that we print that's based on no research that we ever did? We're just going to take all the dogma and all the hit pieces that we ever heard, and we're going to repeat it like garbage in a circle that's going to regurgitate it, like almost like, you know how you push the button on the bottom of your sink and it's like, it grinds everything up? Yeah. I haven't used one of those in a decade because I recycle and I repurpose. Yeah. And I put that shit all out in the compost pile. But today people think they grind it up and they send it into the sewer where the city has to deal with it. And then I'll pay my taxes. But when the Express, which is a sharticle factory, purports to be providing you with information, it's more embarrassing than I could ever imagine. This is not information. This is disinformation, which has been happening since 1947, since the beginning of NASA, the CIA, and everything that is called the mainstream media. They are controlled by an oligarch way above you to control how you think, how you feel, and what you do. Now, I'm going to tell you right now that the way you react is the freedom that you still have. Now, you can buy into this shit. You can nod and comply. You can go to work. Or you could say, fuck this. This is bullshit. I looked into it. Like Diamond here, who has 3 decades of experience in scientific exploration. And he knows what's been going on. I've been in academia. I taught at the university. I played that game. And the very secretary that worked with me in that department is still a brainwashed Democrat that is going to vote for Biden. She's going to pull that trigger. For a Biden, Kamala Harris, whatever you want to call it, dual ticket of tyranny, oppression, violence, and uprising. Or you could vote for Trump, the Patriots, and the other people that are going to be responsible for the uprising. Or you could be neutral like I am and say that both sides have been manipulated by a bunch of frauds that have created this situation on purpose. And while you're out there shooting each other, we're all going to be in rural areas watching it on the big boob tube. Like it's a Netflix. Because we knew it was inevitable and we knew we would never take part. Those are the smart people. Now, I never thought I would say this ever, but Larken Rose is one of my biggest heroes of all time. I've been following him for over, maybe, let's say, 15 years. And initially, I thought, I mean, he's all right. But as I delve into the information, about 8 years ago, I went into the revolving door of Monsanto and Big Ag and the pharmaceutical industries and how they control the media and now the governments of the world. And what I uncovered, well, is beyond groundbreaking. It's mind-blowing. And if you don't know a thing about it, you haven't done your own homework. And if you think that every night when I do a podcast, I'm going to then go over all of everything, magnetic reversals, cosmic rays, why we're all, what's going to happen with the climate, why the media is a fraud, why government is a revolving door. If I have to say that at the beginning of every video, then every video would be 9 hours long. If you don't have the wherewithal to go back to the beginning of our channel 4 years ago and watch the 1,600 videos that explain it all very clearly in order, then you are part of the problem. Now, we've been demonetized several times, so I've had to actually erase almost 1,000 of the most essential videos that you'll never watch. But you're still such a compliant baby that's so lazy that you don't even know how to Google or search a term up in the fucking space bar or send me a link with a link. Hundreds of emails every day with people saying, go watch Joe Schmo on this channel. And I'm like, well, just drop the link. And they're like, I don't know how to do that. This is the world we live in. It's a bunch of puppies that take their government check and it's like, oh my God, I don't have any money. I can't buy any food. What am I going to do? Well, how about you fucking learn something? How about you learn a skill? Learn how to hunt, fish, get the fuck out of Dodge. Get out of that city, the shitty city. How about you learn a skill? Learn compassion, learn love, learn how to heal, learn how to empathize with the other people. These people will teach you something. Find like-minded people. I guarantee the most people that are bitching right now don't even know how to go to the library to research a topic. They don't know what a card catalog is. They don't know what a computer is. They don't know when I say go up here to the search bar over here, up on the top. They don't know how to do that. If you go up into that top square where the website is showing right now and you just ask a question like, how stupid am I? Enter. It will tell you how stupid you are and how inept you are and how simple and how integrative our current society is. This is the apex of where dumb people can actually learn anything in the world. They just ask the box up there. Just go up to the box and ask it. Am I dumb? How do I make cereal? How do I fry an egg? How do I filter water? You could do it up there in that box. You just ask the question. And make sure you use a question mark because that's how you determine what a question is. These are the simple facts that tens of thousands, if not millions of people, over the 30 million people that have watched our videos, millions of them are clueless. Millions have no idea how to gain knowledge and information. They just read it, believe it, and repeat it. And that is the problem of the world today. Bah! I'm sure you've heard of that. It's the complicity of sheep. They can be controlled by a few wolves. And they can be milked to their death while we make them make more babies. That is the America. That is the world you live in. And guess what? The elites are sick of us making babies. That's why they made them more retarded and more compliant. Autism is on the rise. That's because of the vaccine protocol. Not because of you. It's because of you being stupid. Wake up. Stop injecting 89 vaccines, none of which have any efficacy ever proven in a peer-reviewed paper to anyone ever. Stop injecting that into humanity. Stop injecting stupidity into your lives. Stop listening to these fucking frauds. If you don't like what I say, then thumb it down. If you feel a tingle in the back of your neck, that's your kundalini waking up. And I want to hear a popping noise coming out of your apex, which is your ass, soon. And that's your head popping right out of your ass. When you realize everything that you ever believed is incorrect. It's the opposite. And that's a groundbreaking moment. It takes a day, a week, a month to actually realize. You have to breathe it in. You have to take it in. And you have to realize with real lies. And that's a lot. because it's your entire life. So let's say you're 50 and you're just waking up. That's difficult. Now, I have a lot of experience in therapy, different types of therapeutic environments, and I've worked in addiction therapy for almost 2 decades at different levels. In the 12-step program, in rehabs, ad infinitum. I don't even want to get into it. But what you find is that when people wake up, it's a traumatic experience. For me, when I was 32, that was the first year that I remembered that I was sexually abused. So for 2 decades, somehow that was from when I was 13 till I was 33, that was suppressed. And then when I remembered it, it was so clear. But here's the unfortunate facts. Most women in American society don't remember their rape experience till their 40s or 50s, 3 to 4 decades later. And then they realize they were raped by their own family, their uncles, their parents. Over 30% of the population, this has happened to. This is our reality. Being hidden from you in plain sight, while the elites do it on their whim. We need to end this non-humanity that is being claimed as humanity, in my opinion. And people like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are complicit in that destruction of humanity. Donald Trump, not so much. Now, he might be a dumb puppet, but he is, in my opinion, the better choice of the two. I wouldn't choose any of them. But in my biggest reveal ever on a video, on Election Day, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump because I want to fight against a Harris-Biden ticket, which is a globalist ticket, complicit in Satanism, and completely disgusting. They support Antifa and BLM. Now, I supported Antifa and BLM in 2012 and 2013 and 2014, when the organizers were actually about change. But now the organizers are about violence and insurrection. And this is not the way the Constitution was written. The reason I got involved with Occupy is because there is a proclamation in the Constitution that demands a redress of grievances against the government. And we're allowed to occupy areas if we have a problem with the government that we can articulate and we can hand it to them in a document. I am sick of you mandating face masks. I'm sick of you destroying small businesses and destroying the capitalistic economy that you set up for us. That's a redress of grievances. Burning buildings, threatening civilians, and murder, that's criminal activity. That's not America. So a vote for Biden and Harris is a vote for insurrection and anti-American, in my opinion. They're a bunch of, well, I'm an anarchist, but what they propose is anarchy against anarchists, the exact opposite. Antifa is anti-fascists. But in my opinion, my vote for Trump is anti-fascism. A vote for Trump is a vote for freedom. It's a vote for the ability for you to decide what's best for you, not for the government. And this is the first time in history where it's very clear that if you vote the other way, it's not a vote for you. It's a vote for them, where they will control the narrative. They will mandate face masks. They will mandate business shutdowns. They will mandate your misery. And they will mandate you to be chipped, clipped, and monitored for the rest of your fucking life. Is that freedom? Now, if you haven't heard about the Jones Plantation, I implore you to go look it up. Larken Rose He published it about, let's say 11 months ago, and it's pretty awesome. And if you're too dumb to understand what we're saying, please go over and watch the Jones Plantation. Because I may pledge $2,000 to be an executive director for the event. And that will give me front seats to the reception of this most important piece of American documentary ever produced, ever in history, in my opinion. And I think that Larken Rose is on the right path. I wish I had got there before him. But he's been doing this for decades like I am. I just came from a different angle. I came from Monsanto and the chemical corporations that are killing you. And he came from a political viewpoint. So I'm more multinational corporation and he's more Politico. But we're equally on the same path to expose the fraud that is keeping you a slave. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance when the media has been lying to you forever.